Welcome to Odd Jobs. This one, so really quick, we're going to go over the assembly of these fast and fast sprinklers. Link down below and more on this. So how do we put these things together? They come in all these different pieces. We've got a spreader, which acts as a diffuser. This little brown piece in here is the nozzle, and it's sitting on a saddle. That saddle connects onto an adapter or a base, and this chamber here is just. I'm going to explain it this way. We're going with 10 psi low pressure. This chamber here is going to act like a stabilizer, so that we're not getting a gush of water. It's going to buffer the water. If you don't have this chamber here, we're going to be getting spurting water all the time. Then it goes on a very thin 1/4-inch hose. It's going to connect to your main feed line. So let's have a look at these parts as they come to us. So I set up my table when I'm doing stuff like this in a manner that works with assembly. I always take the stuff off that I don't need. I'm going to grab my saddle, and I'm going to take the diffuser and I'm going to press it into this top piece here. Now, it's a very snug fit, so I press it down on the table like this, and I put it in so that it's flush. And then the nozzle goes in upside down here. It goes in that way, and I wiggle it around until it comes out the bottom there. I'm gonna screw that onto the base. Well, you don't screw it on. It's a pressure fit as well, and it just goes on. There'll be a little bit of play in there. I think that's okay. And then I'm going to screw that onto the chamber. Seems to work just fine. That's what it's going to take. The great thing about working on a sheet of plywood as a table is that you know it's 4 feet, so you can measure it 4 feet and then cut it. I'm going to put this barbed fitting on it. I like to warm this up. Sometimes the best way to do it is just to have a cup of warm water. It doesn't have to be boiling hot, but just warm enough to soften this up a bit. The problem with the heating is that sometimes it becomes permanently deformed, and then it won't hold the barb. So heating it up with a flame like that, that's going to work there, like that. The other end, and do the same thing here. That's going to hold. Now this end here is going to go into your feed pipe, and there we have it, fully assembled. It's always exciting when you turn on the sprinkler system for the first time. So we've got one row completely hooked up, and I want to test it. And this is why we put these brass shutoff valves on every line, so that we can do just this. Turn on only one line. Get ready. Okay, looks pretty good. It really throws the mist out quite a ways. Let that run for a few minutes, see what happens. I can feel it from here. Pretty good. But the wind has quite the effect on it. Maybe we should be lowering them a bit. So programming this timer was relatively easy. If you set up any other kind of irrigation timer or any on-off timer for that matter, it's simply the same thing. Once you turn it on, you would set the time, and then you would set all of your start times. These ones are set to come on every day at 8 a.m. for 30 minutes. And then that's telling it to do 100% watering for propagation. Propagation is a term used so that it comes on every so often for so long during the day, and with certain plants or seedlings or whatever, that's the best way to water. I'm not going to bother with that yet. I'm going to let the horticulturalist deal with that. And then the rain sensor is off because I don't have one. And that's the current time, 8 a.m. in the morning. So I'm going to plug this valve into there, and we're going to turn it on. It also has a manual override here. We can press this button and it starts. And when it starts, it'll go for however long you want to set the time for. I'm just going to press this button here. It's going to be on for 30 minutes. Press target button. Right? Is that right? Yeah. It says here the timer. Yeah, right there. That says timer. 30 minutes. It's going to count down. Let's have a look. Let's see how our spray pattern looks. I know it's difficult looking into the rising sun. And there's a lot of misting going on. The wind's taking some of it, but we can see, because of the covering that's over top of the rows, that its water penetration here is pretty good. I'm liking this one, I think, better than the 4.5 foot height, or the 4 foot height that was on there. Much better.